Students looking at homework problems in exercise 2F, worded problems with algebra. The first question is, a train station is between the towns Antville and Bugville. So there's town A, there's town B. The station is 4 times as far from Bugville as it is from Antville. Do you think the station is closer to Antville or Bugville? The station is 4 times as far from Bugville as it is from Antville. Antville's closer, so here's S for the station. What do I put as the distance from A to S? So I'm going to call this X, and I'm going to call this distance from the station to Bugville 4X. And then it says if the distance from Antville to Bugville, so all of that distance is how much? 95 kilometres. How far is it from Antville to the station? So girls, what do you think I should set up? Yeah, that distance, X plus, so I've got X plus 4X equals 95. See girls, without a diagram, I wouldn't be able to do it myself, more than likely. You draw a diagram. It's much better to draw a diagram because diagrams will help stop silly little mistakes. You don't want to lose marks because you try and do it in your head and you've made a mistake. If you do the diagram, you are less likely to make mistakes. The reason I'm saying this is that our senior students are always making mistakes when they do know the work, and it's because they're not showing the working out, or they're not drawing a diagram, or they're not doing something like that. It is really, really important. Even I do it. We've got X plus 4X is 95. That's 9X. 5X is 95. X is 95 divided by 5, which is 19. Therefore, the distance from Antville to the station is what? 19 kilometres. A to S. And you could work out what the other distance was if you needed it. The next question that someone wants is question 9, and then other people want 7. Brenda and Cammy all work part-time at a supermarket. Cammy earns $20 more than Andrew. Now what I want to do, I want the lowest person to be X more than likely. We'll just see. So Cammy gets more than Andrew, so I'm going to put Andrew down here. And Brenda earns $30 less than twice Andrew's wage. If their combined wage is $400. So girls, you're going to have to decide. I don't know where Brenda goes, I can't tell. But who do you think you're going to let equal X? See, Cammy, they're comparing Cammy to Andrew, and they're comparing Brenda to Andrew. Who should be X? I think Andrew should be X. Okay, so let's start again. Andrew is X. Cammy earns $20 more than Andrew. What do we do first? Do you know why I put X for Andrew now? Yeah, because Andrew was in common. He was the common link between Cammy and Brenda, sort of. And Brenda earns $30 less than twice Andrew's wage. What's Andrew? Twice Andrew is 2 times X, which is 2X. What do I do now? Minus 30. So girls, all I do now, if their combined wage is 400, I just add them all up. X plus 20 plus X plus 2X minus 30 is 400, and we solve. Like terms, X plus 2X is 4X, plus 20 minus 30 is minus 10, equals 400. So 4X is 400 plus 10, which is 410. Therefore, X is 410 divided by 4. So it's $102.50. So then you have to work out what each person gets. X is Andrew. Andrew is X, which is 102.50. What does Cammy get? X plus 20, which is plus 20, which is 122.50. And Brenda is 2 times 2x minus 30, and you can substitute that in. 2 times 102.50 minus 30, which is, what's that, 205 minus 30, 175. And you would then, what would you do next to make sure you're right? You add them. You just add the ones that I've underlined. And if they add up to 400, then you've done the right thing. If they don't, you've made a mistake. To do question 7, you're going to have to let someone be X, and it's much better for the smaller number to be X or the younger person to be X. So who are you going to let be X? So let the son equal X. It's much easier to let the younger person be X. So Kate, how old's Kate? Kate is 3 times as old. So Kate is 3x, but Kate is also 30 years older, x plus 30. So we know that Kate is 3x, but Kate is also whatever her son is plus 30. So how do you think I'll set up this equation now? That's right. 3x equals x plus 30. So the hints, always let the younger person be x. All right? So Kate is 3 times her son's age, but Kate is also 30 years older than him. So we've got 3x, because Kate equals 3x and Kate equals x plus 30, then 3x equals x plus 30 because they're both equal to Kate. So now, what do we do? 3x what? Minus x is 30. So 2x is 30 is 15. And let's see if this works. So the son is 15. How old's Kate? So the son is 15. No matter which equation we use, Kate is 3 times 15, which is 45, or Kate is 15 plus 30, which is 45. You'd want to make sure both equations for Kate work, because there's 2 equations, 3x and x plus 30. So they both work. It's got to be right. Okay? Bought a total of 12 fiction and non-fiction books. So there were 12 fiction, some non-fiction, but 12 altogether. The fiction books are $12 and the non-fiction books are $25. So these ones cost $12 each and these ones cost $25 each, and she paid $248 altogether. Now, as I was saying before, if you've got 3 fiction, you've got 9 non-fiction. If you've got 5 fiction, you've got 7 non-fiction. If you've got X fiction, you've got 12 minus whatever X is of non-fiction. So here we've got all the information. 12 books. If you've got X fiction, non-fiction is 12 minus X. So let's pretend they were normal numbers again. If you had 3 fiction books, how much would the 3 fiction books cost? If you had 3 fiction books, how much would they cost? 12 times 3. And if you had 9 non-fiction, it would be 25 times 9. So now we don't do the $3 and the $9. We do 12 times X plus, does that make sense? How much are these going to cost? $12 times how many there are, plus $25 times how many of those. Now, all right, no brackets. So the cost is 12 times X, can I just write 12X, plus 25 times, why am I putting a bracket? Times 12 minus X. So it's $12 times how many fiction books, plus $25 times how many non-fiction. Does this make sense? So in this one, we let X equal the number of fiction books, and therefore 12 minus X equals number of NF books. So over here. So if X equals the number of fiction books, 12 minus X equals the number of non-fiction books. And so the total cost would be 12x plus 25 times 12 minus x. What does that all equal? What's the total cost? So that equals 248. And now we solve the equation. So what have we got? So we're just solving this equation. 12x plus what? No. 5 times 12, 25 times 10 is 250. 25 times 2 is 50. It's 300. You can use your calculator, but sometimes it's good to exercise your brain. What have I got here? Minus 25x equals 248. Okay. The like terms on the left, 12x minus 25x. What's that? 12 minus 25. Going below 0. Negative 13x. Girls, I want to take this 300 over. So I'm going to keep the 248 here. Minus 300. Negative 13x equals negative 52. X is negative 52 divided by, what am I dividing? Negative 13, not positive 13. So x is 4. 13 and 13 is 26 and double that's 52. So therefore, how many fiction books? X is 4. So it's really important you decide if X is fiction or non-fiction. So write your definition up the top. That's really important because you don't want to get them mixed around at the end. So we've got 4, which type? So therefore we've got 4 fiction and how many non-fiction? And 8 non-fiction. Yep. Yes, if you did X for non-fiction, then it's 12 minus X fiction, and then the 12 minus X gets multiplied by the 12 bar, and the X gets multiplied by the 25. All right, so yes, it will still work if you do it the other way, but you just got to make sure you're multiplying the right number by the price, the right quantity by the price. So girls, in this sort of question, you think if they were $12 and I bought this many, it's 12 times how many? 12 years ago, Eric's father was 7 times as old as Eric. And if Eric's father is now 54 years old, how old is Eric? We're not guessing, we're not checking. We're going to put 2 times in this table, and we're going to put Eric and his father. So let's put Eric here. Let's put the father there. You should put now, time now, and 12 years ago. That's how you set up your table. So we've got the times down the side. We've got now, we've got 12 years ago, we've got Eric, and we've got the father. And we just have to fill in the 4 values in the table and set up an equation. Have to decide now. So we're going to do the table. 12 years ago, now, Eric, father. You've got to decide what to make X, and from there, everything's really easy to do. So, 12 years ago, Eric's father was 7 times as old as Eric was. So, 12 years ago, which is down here on this row, Eric's father was 7 times as old as Eric was. You don't have to let X be Eric's age now. It can be his age 12 years ago. It doesn't matter. Where are you going to put X? Put X for Eric 12 years ago. It doesn't matter where you put it, but it's just much easier here. So if Eric was X years, 12 years ago, so let's read again. 12 years ago, Eric's father was 7 times as old as him. Where do I put? Great. Girls, if at the moment, how old are you? All right, so tell me how old you'll be in 12 years' time. Or how old were you? Or, yeah, how old were you 12 years ago? All right. So girls, if this is Eric's age 12 years ago, how old is Eric now? That's right. Shh. So Eric is X. 12 years ago, Eric was X. The father's 7X. Now that means Eric is X plus 12, doing the same thing. Now the father is 7x plus 12. So the way you do this, you put the times here, you complete the grid. Complete the grid. Eric's father is now 54. Well, that's him now. So 7x plus 12 is 54. Do you get what I'm doing? So 7x is 54, take away 12. 7x is 42. We know that x is what? So that means x is 6. How old is Eric now? 18. That's right. So that means that's 6, that's 42, that's 54. We know what x is. We can work out everyone's age at every single time now. So therefore, Eric's age now equals x plus 12, which is 6 plus 12, which is 18. I don't think we need a table because it's not saying so-and-so is this many times older than this person in so many years' time, whatever. It's not that type and in so many. I know it does say in 6 years' time, but it's a bit different to the other one. So if I multiply my age in 6 years' time by 3, well, let's do my age now. If I'm X, you just got to have a starting point. What's your age in 6 years' time? And if now you set up your equation. So if you multiply that age in 6 years' time by 3, so what do I do now? 3 times bracket x plus 6 equals my mother's age now, and my mother is now 48. All right? So what have we got? 3x. Oh, what about question 10 and 11? That's right. Girls, do you remember that question 10 and 11 in the last exercise? You could just divide by 3 if you want. Do you remember that? Yes or no? So we can either go 3 bracket x plus 6 is 48. We can divide by 3 because it's 3 times all of that if you want. You don't have to. What's 48 divided by 3? It's 16. So x is 10. Or you can go 3x plus 18 is 48. 3x is 48 minus 18, which is 30. And x is 10. Look, you can do it either way. You do it the way that you're comfortable. Grace, the second leg was half the first leg. So at the moment, so we're comparing the second and the first. And the third leg was 2/3 the length of the second leg. So the first and the second are compared, and the second and the third are compared. So I'd probably let x be the second. In a yacht race, the second leg is half the length of the first leg. So second leg equals x. If the second is half of the first, what's the first? It's bigger. It's 2x. And the third leg that's the last leg. The third leg, was 2/3 of the second. So it's 2/3 of x, which is 2x on 3. And the last leg, there's a fourth leg, was twice the length of the second leg. What's that? The last leg was twice the length of the second leg, 2x. And the total distance is 153. So girls, 2/3 of x is 2/3 times x over 1. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators is 12x divided by 3. So therefore, adding them all up, x plus 2x plus 2x over 3, or 2/3 x plus 2x is 153. Girls, there's no reason why. Look, that's 2/3 x. You can leave it as 2/3 x if it's going to bother you. Just leave it as 2/3 x. So 2/3 x. And now it's just like you're adding whole numbers with fractions. What have you got? 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. Look at 2 plus 2 plus 1. That's 5x. 5 and 2/3 x. Girls, so I've got 5 and 2/3 x but you never write it like that. We're going to fix that in a minute. I don't like this 5 2/3 x. How am I going to write it? Girls, what are you going to do with 5 2/3? You change it into an improper. 5 2/3 x, we don't write it like that. I can't tell what's up, what's down, and what's in between. So, what do? 17 over 3x equals 153. So 5 2/3 is 17 over 3. Now we know what to multiply by and divide by. So girls, that's 17x divided by 3. Opposite of dividing by 3? So that's 153 times 3. Whatever that is. You should be able to tell me without a calculator. What's 150 times 3? 450, and 3 times 3 is 9. You don't have to do 459 divided by 17 on your own. What have you got? The length of each leg. If x is 27, you can work out the 2x and the 2/3 of x. Okay? Please make sure you answer the question. So therefore, the first leg is x. No, it's not. Yes, it's 2x, which is the second and the last legs are both 2x. Sorry. Yeah, the second leg is x. First leg is 2x. Last leg's 2x. And the third leg is 2/3 x. I'm sure you can work them out. Can you work them out? Okay. Ace Bicycle Shop charges a flat fee of $4 plus $1 per hour. So if you had it for 1 hour, you would pay $4 plus $1 times 1 hour. Is 4 plus 1 is $5. If you had it for 2 hours, you'd pay the $4 plus $1 an hour for 2 hours, $1 times 2, which is 4 plus 2 is 6, 3 hours. $4 plus $1 times 3. So this is where H equals the number of hours. Now, girls, instead of writing it with all the dollar signs, that's just 4 plus what? 1H is just H. So make it nice and simple. Now we want Best Bicycle Shop. Set up a similar thing. What do they charge? $8 plus 50 cents. I need it in dollar notation. 0.50 times H. Get rid of all the dollar signs. 8 plus 0.5 H. Connie and her friends hire 3 bikes from Ace, and David and his brother hire 2 bikes from Best. After how many hours will their hires costs be the same? What do you think you're going to do? That's the hire per person, and so is that. So what do you think you'll set up? Come on, have a go. How many bikes get hired from Ace? Yeah. How many bikes from Ace? 3. This is the charge per person, where H is the number of hours. So we've got 3 from Ace, so 3 times 4 plus H. We want to know when that cost is equal to David and his brother hire 2 bikes from Best. What do I do now? 2 bracket 8 plus 0.5 H. Okay, you know what to do? You should. What do? Expand. And what can you see is going to happen? You're going to lose the half, which will be good. So expand, girls, and solve. And H will be the number of hours when the higher cost will be the same. So we've got 3 times 4 is 12 plus 3h equals 16 plus, what's 2 times a half? So 1h, which is just h. So now, to the left or the right, pronumerals. 3h minus h equals 16 what? Bring in the h over and the 12. 12. You okay? So we've got, keep the h's on the left, the numbers on the right. 2h equals, so the hours are 2. So therefore after 2 hours. Remember there's 3 people from ACE and 4 people from BEST. And if you want, put h equals 2 up in here to check. 3 bracket 4 plus 2 equals 2 bracket 8 plus 0.5 times 2. So what I've done, we've taken the original equation, we've put h equals 2. Let's see if we get the right answer. 3 times what? What's 4 plus 2? So I'm checking. So what does this equal? 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 times 3, 18. Is the other side 18? What's 8 plus a half times 2? What's 8 plus what? What's a half times 2? 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 times 2? Shh. Melbourne. Shh. They're going to Adelaide. And they're both going, one car's going before the other. And so we've got car A and car B. So they're both leaving from Melbourne and they're both travelling to Adelaide. Car A leaves at 11 and travels at a speed of 70 kilometres an hour. And car B leaves at 1 and travels faster at 90 kilometres an hour. We're expecting that at some stage car B will catch up to car A. So they will catch up somewhere, I don't know where, but when they do catch up, it'll be at the same distance from Melbourne. They have to be in the same place to meet. They can't meet unless they're at the same place. So they will catch up somewhere along the road at a certain distance. So the only thing that's going to be for the same for them is the distance travelled. Now, we know that speed, if you think of road signs, for example, 40 kilometres per hour, 60 kilometres per hour. Speed, kilometres is distance, per hour means over time. So therefore, the formula for distance is distance divided by time, opposite of divide by time is speed times time. So distance is speed times time. Girls, you need to work out for me for car A, its distance. But first we need to do a bit about their, so let's look at car A. What do you know? They're going to meet at a certain time. So car A left earlier. Always, the girls, when they meet at the same place at the same time. But because car A left 2 hours earlier, if the time for car B is T hours, what's the time travelled for car A? If you meet somewhere, at some place here, along the way, it's got to be at the same distance travelled and at the same time. If the other car comes 5 minutes later, you're not going to see the other car, right? So, car A leaves earlier than car B. They will meet after a certain time. You have to give time T to one of the cars. Which car do you want to give time T to? It doesn't matter which one. Which car? All right, if car A, its time equals T, what about car B? When they meet, time will equal what? T minus 2. Okay? And car A, speed is what? 70 kilometres per hour. Speed for car B is 90 kilometres per hour. For them to meet, the distance, they have to have travelled the same distance. So how do we do distance for car A? Distance for car A, isn't it speed times time? Speed times time, which is 70 times t, which is 70t. How do you work out the distance travelled for car B? Speed times time, again, which is, anyone? 90 times t minus 2. Now what do? Put them equal to each other. So 90 bracket t minus 2 equals 70t. Okay, girls, you know how to solve that. 90t minus 180 equals 70t. Taking the 70t over, 90t minus 70t is 180. 20t is 180. What does t equal? Whoa! T is, what's 180 divided by 20? No, 9. 9 hours. So, in other words, car A travelled for 9 hours, car B travelled for how long? 7 hours. Then work out what time it will be. 8 p.m. Therefore, the time, therefore the time will be 11 a.m. plus 9 hours is 8 p.m. when they will meet.